So I've been developing a microservice application with Spring Boot and Kubernetes in a series of videos. Now I'm going to install it into Google Cloud. Now this application's been using an NFS server which is on my machine behind it, and that's not going to be available for the application when it's on Google Cloud. So I'm just going to comment out my persistent volume and also comment out in the deployment the volume for the persistent volume and the persistent volume claim, and then comment out the persistent volume claim there. So I'm basically disabling that feature. I'm also going to disable the service monitor by commenting that out, because I'm not going to install Prometheus into Google Cloud. Apart from that, I'm going to install the application as it is using the Helm chart. So I'm going to cd into the Helm chart folder, and I'm going to zip up the Helm chart with tar. So tar pczf mshw Helm chart tar gz, everything in the mshw Helm chart folder. And now I'm going to go over to Google Cloud and set up the project. So we want to go to console.googlecloud and create a project. And at the menu at the top, I'm going to click select project, and that's just the old one which is going to be deleted, but I'm going to go new project here, and I'm going to call the project mshw and create. That takes a bit of time to create. There's a few steps on Google Cloud that takes a bit of time, but that is ready now. So I'll select the project. So I'm working in mshw. From this menu here, I'm going to go to APIs and Services, Library, and I want to enable the artifact registry. So I'll click on that and enable that. This artifact registry is for uploading our Helm chart to, and then we can download it into our project. I also need to enable the Kubernetes engine. So I'll enable that. Okay, so that is finished now. Now I'm going to go to activate Google Cloud shell in the top here. Now I'm just going to do Helm version to confirm that we have Helm installed, and we do, version 393. So we should be able to use Helm in here. Now I'm going to go into artifacts registry. So if I type artifacts into search, I want the repositories, and create a new repository. I'll call it mshw, and I'll leave everything else default. I need to select a region. I will select my region, Europe West 2, which is for London, and create that. And there we have mshw repository. Now back to my local machine. Okay, now when you install Python, you get Google Cloud SDK shell installed. We now need to run with this shell. So if you've got Python installed, it should be off your start menu under Google Cloud SDK, and it's the shell in there. Now I need to say gcloud auth login, and it's going to take us to a web browser where we can verify it's us with whatever method it chooses. It will do two-factor authentication, so I need to just put a code into my phone, and that should log us in there. we're now authenticated with Google Cloud. Now I can do gcloud auth print access token, and that's going to give us an access token code there. Now I need to copy that access token and log into our registry with Helm registry login u oauth to access token p, and then the access token in quotes, and then the name of our registry. So I need to check the name of our registry. So it's Europe West 2 Docker PKG Dev, and it's MSHW 442717 and then MSHW. So I'll just put that on my other monitor. I need to log into HTTPS Europe West 2 docker.pkg.dev, then MSHW 442717 and MSHW, and login succeeded when I got the repository name right. Now I need to cd to where my Helm chart is. So I have it zipped up there, and I need to push that to the repository. Helm push mshw helm chart.tar.gz to OCI and Europe West 2 docker.pkg.dev mshw. What was it again? 442717 /mshw, and that's pushed it to the artifact repository. And there we can see MSHW Helm chart is uploaded in our repository. So now I'm going to go back to the project's main page and create a Kubernetes cluster. Now the name, I'm going to call it MSHW. The region, again, Europe West 2 is best for me. And the rest I'll leave as default, and click create there and wait for that to create. Okay, so that takes some time. That took about 10 or 15 minutes then to create that cluster, but you have to wait for it to finish, but it's finished on mine. So now what I need to do is get the credentials for the cluster, and I could do that with gcloud container clusters get credentials and zone Europe West 2, and the repository name is MSHW. Now I click authorize and kubeconfig entry granted for MSHW. Now I can run helm install MSHW and the OCI address, which is Europe West 2 docker.pkg.dev MSHW 442717 MSHW and MSHW Helm chart. So this is the repository name of the Helm chart, and we are logged into the Kubernetes cluster there. So this is the same as just doing a Helm install in our local Kubernetes. And MSHW deployed revision 1. So now I can just use kubectl to get pod, MSHW MySQL, get pod in the namespace, MSHW namespace, and we can see we're waiting for our 2 microservices to start. I'll do that with a watch and wait for them to start, hopefully start. Okay, so it's taken a while again, but after 2 minutes we have containers creating, and we have our caps running and our deployment running. If I do kubectl get all in the namespace, MSHW namespace, we can see we've got our 2 services, 2 deployments there. So it's all the same stuff as we had in the previous videos when I did it in the local Kubernetes. Now I can run this command that I've got here, kubectl patch service, MSHW service in the namespace, and P and then spec type load balancer. So I'm patching the MSHW service to be a load balancer, and now if I do kubectl get services, and if I watch that, I'm waiting for my load balancer service to get an IP address. And there I have an IP address. It's an external IP address, 35.189.117.224. So if I copy that and visit it, and there we have our application working. We don't want HTTPS. There we have our application working on Google Cloud, and we can do read. Obviously we've just installed a new MySQL server database. I can do write something on Google Cloud and then read that again, and we've written that to the MySQL, which is installed in the Kubernetes on Google Cloud. So that's the application installed on Google Cloud, and it's now publicly available at that IP address. So now if I pointed a DNS address at that IP address, the application is installed live on the internet. Now, like I said at the start, this will incur charges, probably only a small charge for following this exercise, but I don't want to get charged anymore, so I'm just going to clear everything down and delete the project. So back in Google Cloud, I'm going to say gcloud artifacts repositories delete MSHW in location Europe West 2. You're about to delete MSHW, yes. Deleted repository MSHW, and then gcloud container clusters delete in zone Europe West 2 MSHW. This now MSHW will be deleted, that's the cluster. So this is going to take a little while because it's shutting down Kubernetes. But now if I try and visit it's not going to work anymore. Okay, so my cluster is deleted. All I'm going to do now is actions and delete the MSHW project. Type MSHW to confirm. So I've shut everything back down and I won't incur any additional charges. So that's it for this series. I will make one more video wrapping up because I actually have a document that I'll make available to you if you want to follow the instructions in a document. Learning Kubernetes is something that I've done recently myself, and I couldn't really find a resource exactly tailored for Java programmers going through the learning curve that I wanted to go through, and that's why I made this video series. I hope you found it helpful. Thanks for watching.